Alrighty, this is gonna be part 19. My brain is operating at 5% capacity. I'm very, very sleepy, but I cannot sleep yet. Alrighty, so we're gonna just, I don't know, get stuck by this guy or whatever. I think there's like an item back there, so let's get off of the gear. Yipper peppers. We got starlight. What is starlight? Maybe it's a helmet? Yeah, it's gotta be a helmet. Not that I'm concerned about helmets, but whatever. It's free, let's take it. There we go. Oh, never mind. Guess this isn't a gear dungeon. Yahoo! Alrighty. Let us see what we got here. Oh, did I miss something? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Oh, I guess there's shit over here too. They just be hiding stuff all over the place, I guess. And I could swear it said there's some other stuff back here. Yep. Okay. Well, now we're gonna go do the dungeon for real, I guess. Alright. Okay, so she should learn that semi-soon, hopefully. That thing has a beastly amount of HP. I got a wizardry ring, apparently. It says a fuse has been blown. Okay. door needs to be unlocked. I guess I'll look somewhere around here for it. Power's cut off. We should probably replace the fuse. I wonder if there's a replacement in this room back here. Door lock area A. Okie dokie. So, clearly I have to figure that out. Guess I go in here now. Door lock area B. What the hell? Yeah, I don't know. This place sucks. Oh, okay. Nothing conspicuous. Found a fuse. Can't go in there. What the hell? I guess I accidentally escaped. Alright, guess I gotta replace that fuse. Now this says door lock is deactivated. That's cool. Alright, I got a tent, I guess. Ugh, this place has just gotta be annoying, huh? Alrighty. Activating main system. Activating. Okay. Received Zetasol DX. Door lock system operational. D is deactivated. This says nothing, I guess? Okay. Whee! That's over the hour. Maybe I should go back, because I think there was like some other room. Okay, so I guess I do go down here. Hold on a sec. Let's try and get these up here, I guess. That looks nicer. This has booting up the central elevator's lock system, releasing central elevator lock, done. Okay. I fucking escaped? Are you serious? Okay, now the door opens. That's super annoying. Oh, that's just the beginning, I think. I'm supposed to go down here, I guess. How fancy. Enter the code. That number's locked. Enter a different number. Okay. This is enter the code for address A. Let's let's see. This one's D. What is this all supposed to do? So B, we want 5. D, we want 4. And then 2 and 8 for A and C. Alright, that does what? Released. Okay. Right in center. I guess down? How fancy. Ellie says this is. Billy says the anima relic. Billy says, who is it? Who's calling me? I don't know. What should I do? Were you waiting for me? Faye says, Billy? Billy said, did you see that? It looked like my gear. Faye says, maybe something happened to your gear. Let's head for the exit and see if any change took place. Then we run into the elements. Faye says, you girls again. Billy says, elements. Dominia says, I see you've gained a new gear that has been aligned with an anima relic. Calvena says, you know that we should have been the ones to have it. We need stronger powers in order for Commander Ramses to realize his long-cherished desires. Talone says, yes, for the building of our ideal country, we can't allow you to take it. Seraphita says, come on, let us have it. Faye says, you knew what Solaris was doing to the surface dwellers, and you know what the situation is like now on Earth, and yet... Dominia says, what the Gazelle do, or whatever happens to the lambs, are not my concern. Each of us have our own obligations to fill. We don't have time to deal with affairs concerning you weak and inferior people. Ellie says, Dominia, do you truly believe that? Dominia says, yes, look at yourselves, for instance. You, the strong and the superior, were the first to preserve yourselves without any mutations. Is that not right? Faye says, power and ability have nothing to do with it. It was pure coincidence that we didn't mutate. Billy says, people are people, nothing more or less. I admit that there are the weak and powerless, but there's no reason for us to forsake them. We are all the same human beings. Dominia says, so you wish to give a hand to those who would be saved? Seraphita says, you're so nice and kind. Calvena says, how commendable, but is that really what's best for mankind? Ellie says, you were all once surface dwellers. Weren't you all forced to live under the oppression of Solaris? I know that you know how it feels to be a have-not, so why do you? Calvina says, people must be able to stand on their own in any circumstances they are in. Overprotection only stunts the will to be independent. This stunts the growth of the people and the world. We've experienced that firsthand. Live by one's own strength, stand on one's own feet. It's sad but true that the weak will be weeded out, but we cannot look back. That is the providence of human existence. Ellie says, that is just the providence of those who are the haves. Dominia says, so be it then. Show me this providence of yours that wishes to save the meager have-nots. Dominia says, here I come. And we are in a fight. Alrighty. Let's punch Calvina in the face. And one shot. Alrighty. She's just gonna punch, I guess. Maybe Talon doesn't like Earth. I don't know. Yeah. Let's just... These bitches be gone. She said, we may have fared poorly in human form, but now we're gonna beat you up with our gears. And Dominia says, what took you? Faye says, what meaning is there in fighting again? Dominia says, silence, we have no choice. We will show you the true power of the elements. Get ready, because here we come. Calvina says, let us merge and combine our forces. They are becoming Power Ranger something or other. Okay. G Elements, Kishin Sword. Well, well, well. He has no cool options. Let's just have him attack. Talon says, leave it to me. Why the fuck doesn't she have any EP? This is bullshit. Faye learned Big Bang, and apparently I acquired the Kishin sword. Ellie says, some things only the weak can feel, but weakness does not make them servile. It's because they are weak that they can develop kindness and never look down on people. That is where real human interaction comes from. Everyone has weaknesses, even you did at first. Your weaknesses drew you to each other and made you grow strong. Never forget those feelings when you all live together side by side. Dominia says, are you trying to show us mercy or are you trying to show off? Ellie says, you've got us all wrong, Dominia. Our paths may be different, but our goals are the same. That's why I can't fight you anymore. There's no reason for me to. That's all. Calvina says, well, it looks like they showed us a thing or two. Dominia says, Oh boy. Having fled from the elements who tried to take the relic to be used as a power to fulfill Ramses' desires, we once again initiated our search for information on the whereabouts of the last known relic. The Gazelle Ministry says he is no longer one of us. Yes, he dares to go against our objectives just like the other one. We can still activate the key. We must do something about the one who stands in our way. We must eliminate Cain. But we cannot stand up to his power. Only Cain can destroy Cain. So Mother will do it for us. Miang says maybe. Did Krelian say anything? The Gazelle Ministry says something concerning the potential ability as a countervailing existence with everything focusing towards a single point. Miang says, I see, but Kar is still shaken up by yesterday's defeat by Faye. We are almost ready. I just need a little bit more time. The Ministry says, then we'll wait. We'll wait until the time is ripe. It appears we are flashing over to Dominia. She says, Krelian, a countervailing existence. That Miang, what is she up to? I'd better warn the commander. Ramses says, out of the way, let me through. That bastard, I'll hunt him out myself. Calvena says, please calm down, Commander. Talone says, we'll take care of him and his friends. Ramses says, what could you fools do? Imbeciles. Only I can beat him. Only I, who transcends all other humans, can possibly take him down. Sure. Ramses says, move. Dominia says, Commander, wait. While Faye and the others searched for the resting place of the last known anima relic, I temporarily returned to Nissan. I don't know why I went back, just I had this stirring within my heart that some danger was awaiting the people there, says Ellie. All the people accepted into Nissan were on the road to recovery. There were still those who were not able to completely recover, but Tora's nanomachines continued to evolve from day to day. Thanks to the nanomachines, the treatments were becoming more and more successful, and the day when everyone would regain their original bodily form was approaching. A trembling. There was a sudden explosion in the city of Nissan. Within the burning fire stood a gold Omnigear. It was Ramses. He assaulted Nissan so that he could defeat Faye. His purpose of existing was at stake. The Nissan and Shivat military, even rank and friends from Solaris, who now served to protect Nissan, could not thwart the assault. The people were evacuated into the cathedral. Continuing to search for Faye, Ramses put the militia to rout and pressed on toward the cathedral. He was ruined. He had his mind set solely on getting at Faye. I stood before him. Ramses says, where is he? I know it. He's here. Why does he not come out? Faye says, Ramses, the Faye you seek is not here, so please stop this meaningless violence. Ramses says, you, yes, you will do. Ramses says, come out, Faye. If you will not come out, I will crush Eliam. Ellie says, ugh. Margie says, Ellie. Rank says, boss. Ellie says, keep back. Ramses says, not coming out, eh? Have it your way. Then from tonight on, you will be crying with this woman's dead body in your arms. Ellie screams. Ramses says, how? What happened? Why can't I move? Margie says, Ellie. Rank says, are you okay? Ramses says, how could I, to the likes of you? Ramses says, not only to him, but I am also inferior to you? Me? Ellie says, what happened to you, Ramses? Why are you caught up with Faye so much? Why are you so bothered by who is more superior? Ramses says, I was originally created to be the integration of all human abilities, to be able to align with all of the anima relics. I was created to have the powers equivalent to those of Emperor Cain. You could say I was to be the ideal form which all people strive to become. However, once he was born, I was rejected. I was given life in a pile of trash, born in the dark, cold abyss of worthlessness. Ramses says, I was able to crawl out of there. I was able to survive on my own strength. In order to get back at all those who have forsaken me, despite all that, I was able to get this far. I was able to provide myself with the warmth that I required to continue living. But he had to come and intervene in my life one more time. He tried to take that very warmth away from me again. As long as he exists, I don't belong anywhere. Ellie says, I think I know why you are so fixated with Faye. You do not really know what you should be doing with your life right now. You're simply trying to protect yourself by attacking Faye. By attacking others, you are confirming your own existence. That's why you strive to be above everyone else, because otherwise you'd be enveloped by a void, because you yourself will disappear, because that emptiness within your heart will only grow, because you want to hang on to love. Ramses says, silence. Even you are trying to take it away from me, that warmth. That very warmth I finally obtained. Ellie says, Ramses, no one is attacking you. No one is trying to take away what is so precious to you. No one is threatening your existence. It's all in your mind, so don't hide the feelings that are in your heart. Don't fear love. Ramses says, you, now you, arg. Ramses was in fear. He feared losing the place he belonged to. He feared that Faye was the one who would take it from him. He believed love was something you take. He craved love more than anyone else. The Gazelle Ministry says, worthless, trash, reject. Why even bother existing? Defect. Be gone. We have no use for you. Ha! Trash is of more worth to us than you. I don't know. They tend to say things that make very little sense. Ramses is silent. Miang says, Car, don't worry. I'll always be by your side. No one knows you better than I do, so don't. Ramses says, Miang, is this all I can do? Is this the extent of my strength and abilities? I couldn't beat him, and in front of that woman I couldn't do a thing. Is this the limit of my existence? My abilities? Krellian says, you're the same as Cain, an archetype that surpasses all humans. I made you in the same way, but he is the one who is preventing you from fully releasing your powers. Divided powers, that man was your original form, the primordial superior being. If you could defeat him, then you would be... Miang says yes. Even with your superior constitution, the existence of the original being hinders you. If you could eliminate the divided power, then it would all be yours. Don't you agree, Car? So I guess they're manipulating him into killing Cain. Okie dokie. Having completed the alignment of the first anima relic with Billy, there was a remarkable change in the appearance and structure of Billy's gear. There were units that merged with the inorganic. Of course, we had no idea what purpose these ancient anima relics were created for, but the fact that they played some kind of role as weapons was blatantly obvious. Eventually, their true power will be released, and we cannot allow this power to fall into the hands of evil. In order to obtain the final relic, we headed for a ruin that is believed to be almost 10,000 years old, the remains of the first civilization on our planet. And a reunion with an old friend awaited us. Alright. These frogs are coming after me. Because I took one step, of course. Alright. to this guy. Johnny says, "Hi, nice to see you. If you say dungeons, I say traveling merchants. You say traveling merchants, and I say shopkeep Johnny. Wanna buy something or fix up your gear?" Oh, does he have anything new? That all looks like stuff I saw last time. Let's go back, check out the gear stuff. Nothing appears new. What else? Anyways, oh, okay, I need to get in my gears and push away that boulder, I guess. Oh boy. Let's get out of the gears then. And then we go in Meower. Alrighty. Writing on the wall. 4 steps south, 10 steps west. Read all the pillars and wall messages. Find the 3 hidden stones, put them in the holes. Aim your sights higher. Faye says, looks like there's writing carved on the walls. The truth is back there, says the stone. This one says the unseen is true as well. Okay. Writing on the wall. The center stone will be your foothold. What do? Just push this? Writing on the wall. 4 steps south, 10 steps west. Writing on the wall, higher than the center pillar. Okay. Writing on the wall. Check the back of the stone pillars. Okie dokie. Well, I guess that did it. It's gonna take half an hour. Alrighty, so is that all I needed to do? I guess I figured it out accidentally. That's fine. Alright, now I go jump down here, I guess, for some reason. Oh boy. More frogs. jump across. Okie dokie. What to do in here? Really, I didn't even move. I guess I gotta get out of the gears and walk over here. That's super fun. Alrighty. I got survival tent. That seems useful. Okay. Leading to a corridor leads east and has breakable tiles in front of and behind some chests. Finding the exit is tricky. The easternmost floor pit has a passage hidden in the shaft. I don't know. That's not very fucking nice, is it? Oh boy. Alright. Fear not the darkness of the walls of the pit. If you keep moving forward, you will find a path. Okie dokie. Faye says, now what? Apparently we're gonna have some spikes attack me. Yikes, the ceiling is falling. Show some courage and stand your ground. Okay. Oh, interesting. Huh. Looks like there's a switch on the floor. Okay. Alright. There's a button with 3 marks on it. There's a button with 7 marks on it. Okay. Might move it if you push. Found a beastly robe. Now I guess I can leave. Maybe not. And I think I need to go get my gears. And then maybe these boxes. Keys. Oh boy. Ether doubler. Alrighty. What we got over here? Guess I gotta get out of my gear again. This is getting really old. And now we're in this hellhole. Ellie says, so there's an anima relic in these ruins. Rico says, so ancient people worshipped meaningless things too, huh? Rico says, who's that? What'd you say? Say something I understand. Who are you? Get out of my head. Rico, are you okay? Says Faye. Rico says, I've seen that shape somewhere before. Faye says, wasn't that Rico's gear? Looks like it's your turn, Rico. Anyway, we'll soon see when we go outside. Faye says, whoa, what the? And Hammer says, hey bro, it's been a long time. Been a long time no see, bro. Faye says, Hammer, is that you? What are you doing in that outfit? Hammer says, I was finally able to get it, super strength, just like you, bro. It feels so good, being one with your gear. Krellian did this for me. Anyway, just leave that gear and Miss Ellie for me. Resistance is useless. I'm much too powerful now. Faye says, what are you saying, Hammer? Hammer says, what? You're not handing them over? I see. Then I'll just have to use force and take the girl and the gear from you. Rico says, stop it, Hammer. Hammer says, even you, champ, won't win against me now. Hammer says, here I come. Ooh, boy. Self-modification. Okay. $59.56. Still don't want to cooperate, huh? And Aqua? So it doesn't like wind, apparently. I'm gonna just do this. Looks like we got the trader card, so that's good. Hammer says, that's my bro. Far too strong. Even for me, just when I thought I got powerful enough to beat you. Rico says, Hammer. Hammer says, Champ, promise me you'll go back to Nortune one day. You are the next in line to be the Kaiser. Rico says, you knew? Hammer says, don't underestimate the power of my information network. But it's no use now. For a bit player like me, this is probably the end I deserve. Faye says, Hammer! Hammer disappeared into the chasm with a look of satisfaction. Was he happy because he had been able to attain it, his brief moment of power? Hammer's smile, was that the look of joy from attaining power? Or was it the look of relief from the pain that was brought upon him by his mutation? Ultimately, we had no other choice but to defeat our friend Hammer for the sake of our own survival. Was there any other way around it? I've never felt that fighting was so futile until now. Ellie cried continuously. She hated herself for not having the power to do anything to help him. When I saw her like that, I couldn't help thinking I can no longer allow her to fight like this. We returned to Ignis, feeling that this had become much more than we could bear. Emperor Cain says, what do you want, Ramses? Ramses says, you, if you didn't exist, that's why I must get rid of you. Only then will I be able to beat him. Emperor Cain says, what do you think you're doing, Ramses? Emperor Cain says, that's absurd. Do you think you can neutralize my power? Krellian says, of course he can. He was made to be able to do so. Emperor Cain says, Krellian, surely you're not on their side now. Krellian says, oh, really now? I don't care about a group of old geezers who are so obsessed with clinging on to their dear little lives that they had to resort to turning themselves into data on the Sol 9000 in order to survive. That's not why. Your existence obstructs me from reaching my goal. That's all. Emperor Cain says, haven't you been working for humanity's future? For humans to live longer? That is why I assisted you. Krellian says, yes, that's right. I try to lead the people in my own way. That hasn't changed in the least. Emperor Cain says, Krellian, what's got into you? Krellian says, kill him, Ramses. Ramses says, ooh-ah. And it appears Cain is no more. The ministry says Cain is dead? Yes. The final fate for one bound within everlasting flesh. If only he had just accepted our logical ideals. A fitting end for someone who had become dominated by needless flesh. Excellent work, Krelian. Krelian stays silent. The ministry continues. Now that there is nothing that can stand in the way of us accomplishing our objective, the anima relics have been awakened and have been aligned with their respective animus. Dan, Joseph, Gad have each been aligned with a surface dweller as their animus. Hayuga's Asher, Ramses's Zelbalun, Krelian's Judah, Sophia's Dinah, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Issachar were already aligned 500 years ago, and finally Graph's Naphtali. All of the anima relics have now been activated. The identity of the persona mask of the mother has also become clear. The time has come. Now is the time to open the door to God's domain, to attain the fleshy body and the wisdom of God. The time of the true awakening to carry us to new horizons. The time of the gospel has come. Now humans extol the awakening of God. And so droppeth the key. Suddenly the howling erupted. Even the people who had not mutated were being turned into wells. They howled out like war cries as if to call out to something. That was because Ramses had been manipulated into assassinating the emperor. Now, with nothing else holding them back, the ministry had put into use the geisha key, the effect of which was to alter those people who had been destined by God. Those people destined by God, regardless of whether they were surface dwellers or Solarians, began to change shape, one after the other. The howling was the people who had filled the earth, calling out to God. Once humans have filled the earth, God will awaken from his long sleep, and the awakening of Mahanan, the paradise in the sky, will soon follow. The true meaning of what the ministry had spoken, the true nature of that legend, was at least beginning to be realized. That is what they meant when they said once humans have filled the earth. Eventually Mahanan, the resting place of God, woke from its long slumber and began to rise, almost as if responding to the call of the people. It appeared before us in all its majestic glory. And it rises from the sea. Solaris, Gazelle Ministries, sent a massive force there to obtain God and his wisdom, but by now neither the nation of Solaris nor the organization known as Gebler existed anymore. The only thing that was left there was an innumerable accumulation of weapons. Almost all of the Solarians had been transfigured into weapons. The Gazelle Ministry now reigned over them as their commanders. There was no way we could allow God or God's wisdom to fall into the hands of the ministry. We decided to assemble all the forces we could and head towards Mahanan. It was a perilous battle. There was no guarantee that we would make it back alive. We were to carry out the plan at dawn, hence I had to stiffen my resolve concerning her. Ellie says, "Wait a minute, you want me to stay here?" "No, I'm going with you." Faye says, "No, it's too dangerous." Ellie says, "Why? I've been in many dangerous situations. This isn't the first time." Faye says, "I said no, we can't take you. Please understand." Ellie says, "No, I want to go. We've been fighting together all this time, and suddenly you're telling me not to go? I just don't get it." Faye says, "This isn't like any other fight. It's a battle for the wisdom created by God. It's life or death. Whoever controls it becomes the true dominator of the world. It's obvious the ministry will bring the strongest possible troops. There is no guarantee you'll come back alive." Ellie says, "That's exactly why I want to go." Faye says, "You don't have the slightest idea." Ellie says, "What don't I understand?" Faye says if the enemy were only the Ministry or just mechanical weapons, it would be okay. But most of the enemies will be made up of what were once humans, humans just like you and I. Faye says I saw them at those facilities, gears that were made out of humans. They were the same as Hammer. Could you now destroy them knowing this? In order to save ourselves, can you truly say that you could kill those who were once our friends? So do you still want to go now? Ellie says, well... Faye says you can't even kill one person. Your presence would be a burden during the fight. Faye says you just get in the way. Ellie runs away. She seems pissed. Yeah. Bart says, Faye, don't you think you went a little too far? Citan says, we can't blame her. At least we should understand her feelings. Faye says, I know how Ellie feels. I knew she wouldn't have listened to me if I had said, you're not coming. Seeing as she's worked together with us for such a long time, that's why I had to explain it to her like that. Faye says, the people gathered in Nissan need Ellie. She's gotta realize how much people are depending on her. I can't put her in a dangerous situation. Margie says, but the way you said it was a little harsh. Billy says, you didn't have to be so cold. She was crying, you know. Faye says, but... Citan says, I'm sure she realizes that. Bart says, I agree. Maybe you are the one who doesn't understand. Faye says, me? I don't understand? Margie says, a lady's heart. Billy says, she wants to go to be with you, Faye, until the end. Margie says, yeah. Bart says, if I were you, I'd hold her tight and say, let's go together, just like that. Margie says, really? Bart says, no. I mean, Mason says, young master, don't overdo yourself now. Bart says, shut up. Anyhow, why don't you ask her to come with you? Whether she'll go or not, you should express your feelings in words. If you really care about her, you have to go tell her. Citan says, express your feelings, right? Faye says, I didn't mean. Bart says, too late now, everybody knows. Citan says, you're not being true to yourself, are you? Margie says, I agree. Esmeralda says, Faye, say it straight out. Margie says, go ahead, go chase after her. What are you waiting for? Okay. Where is she hiding? Margie says, don't run away. Be a man and confront the problem. Maybe she's down here. Hey, stupid, it's the other room. Oh boy. Faye says, sorry about what happened. Forgive me. I want to explain. Now, for the first time, people on Earth and Solaris are becoming one. But then, not all of them are strong like the crew of the ship or the people in Shivat. Even we almost lose sight of our future at times, so can you imagine what regular people go through? That's why people need someone like you to depend on, as a light to guide us. You freed the hearts of the people that have been used as tools by that ministry for hundreds of years. Ellie, it was you. And now your body doesn't just belong to you alone anymore. That's why I can't let you be in any danger, and that's why I don't want you to fight anymore. Ellie says, it's funny, isn't it? Faye says, huh? Ellie says, we used to be enemies, but now we're together like this. Ellie continues, in the beginning I think I saw myself in you. We seemed to overlap, you being in a similar situation as I was in. When I was with you, I didn't feel alone or apprehensive. That's why I thought I liked you. But it wasn't that, I simply didn't have the courage to look at my true self. I turned to you to run away from it all, I mistook that for love. But it's different now. I can face my own problems. I am me, and you are you. It has all become clear to me now. I also learned that I really do need you. It's not because I need you as a sanctuary for my problems. I need you because I truly love you. Faye says, Ellie. Ellie says, I know what you're saying, Faye. I know why you're so concerned for my safety. But you know, I'm scared. I fear we may never see each other again. I just have this feeling. Faye says, don't worry, I won't die. Ellie says, no, it's not that, it's something completely different. It's as if I'm being torn apart by something I can't resist. That I'm no longer me. Even if you come back safely, it feels so uneasy. This is why I need to go with you. I can't bear to be away from you. Faye says, I feel the same way. Ever since the time I met you in the forest, I think it's the same feeling that you've been having. I was also running to you. But I have to solve my own problems. I can't throw my problems onto you. There is another me. Id is within me. I fear that at any moment, id may awaken within me. You're the only one that has been able to keep me from giving in to id. It was because you were always by my side that I was still able to keep from losing myself. Faye says, I promise you I will return. So that is, Ellie, I want you to be my reason to return, to be my home that I can return to. Ellie, if you will wait for me to come back, even if we are in totally different places, as long as you will stay by my side, I know I'll be able to do anything. Ellie says, oh, Faye, and creams her panties. Apparently they're gonna make out. Gross. It'd be hotter if it was two dudes. Two dudes first to get two dudes, and then they make out. Okay? Okay. Oh, did they make a fuck? Ellie says, are you going now? Faye says, yeah, sorry, did I wake you? Ellie says, it's okay, I've been awake all along. Faye says, all along? Ellie says, yeah, I was watching over you while you slept. And before I realized it, it was morning. Faye says, well, I'm off. Ellie says, alright then, do be careful. Faye says, I will. Oh, could you hold on to this for me? Ellie says, what is this? Is this a pendant? Faye says, I don't know whose it is. It seems it was on me when I was brought into Lahan. It may be mine, or it could be... Ellie says it could be... Faye says, oh, nothing. Will you hold on to it for me? Ellie says, all right, I'll hold on to it for you. Faye says, thanks. Well, I guess it's goodbye. Ellie says, oh, Faye. Faye says, yeah? Ellie says, thank you. Faye nods his head and walks out of the room, leaving Ellie naked under a blanket. My. He made a fuck with her. Dropped his 18-year-old load right into her vajazzle. Margie says, Ellie, are you okay about this? Don't you want to be with him? Ellie says, yes, but it's because I believe in him. Just being close to a person is not in itself an indication of love, is it? Margie says, men are selfish. But when something big happens, they say it's too dangerous, or you can't come. They treat women like we are weaklings. Margie says, although it's true, I can't help Bart and friends much anymore. Ellie says, that's not true. Everyone wants someone special waiting for them. Someone who will protect a place that they can return to. If you don't have that peace of mind, you wouldn't be able to get anything done. Ellie continues, men try to tough it out, as much as they can, and then some. They're cute the way they do that, though, aren't they? Margie says, yeah, you're right. Ellie says, anyway, we have things we have to do too now, and while we do them, let's pray that everyone comes back safely. Margie says, to God? Ellie says, no, to your own innermost feelings that everyone believes in. Ellie says, what's wrong? Margie says, I knew it. Yes, that must be it. Ellie says, what? Margie says, Ellie, it's like everyone says, you must be a reincarnation of Sophia. You have no way of knowing the Nissan sex teachings, but what you say, well, it's exactly the same as what Sophia always said. Ellie says, yes, that might be it. Ellie continues, the first time I visited here, I had the most amazing feeling. Familiar, sad, like I'd visited here many times in my dreams. I know where each room is and what's in them. I just know I must have been here in the distant past. Before, if you had spoken of this, I'd have brushed it off with a laugh, but now, I can more or less believe it. Ellie continues, the things I couldn't do then, I'm probably trying to do now. Margie says, things you couldn't do? Ellie says, yes, things I couldn't do. And we move to another scene. Driving back the Solarian Interceptor forces, we took to the floating continent Mahanin. It was the central hull of a colossal spacecraft with a diameter of at least 40 kelts. And on the side is inscribed Eldridge, so it's the same ship that you see in the cutscene in the beginning of the game. Judging from the condition of the hull, we estimated the ship was thousands of years old, 10,000 years to be precise. It was determined by examining the inside of the wreckage that some kind of accident occurred on the ship 10,000 years ago which forced it to crash into our planet. Alien beings that came to our planet from a far-off galaxy aeons ago. Could it possibly have been that our ancestors were the passengers of this ship and had crash-landed here on this planet? Seeking God and his divine wisdom, Raziel's tree, which it is said lie here in Mahanin, we proceed further. Yeah, let's save. Alrighty. And let's change members. We're going to continue. In the depths, we saw an alien form. It was partially rotted and petrified, a giant, grotesque being. It gave off an inexplicable air of intimidation. Perhaps it was more than a gut reaction. Perhaps it was the fear of the absolute that came from the very depths of our inherited instincts. Pardon me. And we are in a fight with Deus. It does not like lightning too much, so we're gonna do some more of that. Holy shoot. Heals 16,000 HP, automatic counter. I don't know. I don't think it's a winnable fight, so you just like attack it or whatever. that. Have a good day, cat. Alrighty, Faye says that was the ultimate power. The partially routed thing eventually self-disintegrated. We proceed even further. We came to an enormous cavern that was big enough to swallow the whole capital of Ava. In its center were two gently glowing objects. It was the source of divine wisdom. It was Raziel's tree. And the cavern itself was a giant computer called Raziel. The wisdom of God hidden within Raziel, we found the unthinkable when we accessed its data. A large, unmanned strategic weapon and its battalion of terminal interface weapons traveling from star system to star system, and a gargantuan mothership used to carry them. The creation of the Malik Angel, God's army to reign over the vast universe with, and the construction of a divine ark. These weapons were called Yeba, the Interplanetary Invasion Weapons System. What the Gazelle Ministry was pursuing was right here. According to the data, the giant rotting organism we defeated was in fact the nucleus of this system. We were on the verge of accessing the data for the object called Zohar, the central neural circuit and power source controlling the entire system, from the weapons to the mothership. When suddenly he appeared. Krellian says, "Ah, the hidden data from Raziel's tree. Move away from there. This matter is far too weighty for the likes of you." Faye says, "We must protect it with our lives. We cannot let them have the Raziel data." Citan says, "You handle them. I will extract as much data as I'm able to. If anything goes wrong, I will destroy this place." And Alpha Reltar attacks. Okay. Let's use the booster, I guess. Faye says, oh, Graf says, I guess that's all you can take for now. Are you frustrated? But that is only natural. After all, you are imperfect. Faye says, imperfect? Graf says, yes, you are lacking now. The absence of wrath is an impediment to you utilizing your true strength. Faye says, wrath? Graf says, the drive to massacre and annihilate, the compulsion to destroy your opponent. Such wrath is power for the soul. By eliminating your foe, you attain your first sublimation of that drive. It is this very sublimation that draws out the hidden powers within oneself, but clinging to reason, suppressing your wrath and desire, makes releasing your true power a dream within a dream for you. You already know this. When wrath appeared in your heart, the machine responded, did it not? What drew out such power from your machine was truly the drive of your soul. It was your id. The sign of the purpose you've been seeking, the mark of a natural-born assassin. Faye says you're wrong. That's absolutely untrue. I'm not id. Graf says the time has come. I'll take your soul and draw its power out to the limit. Krelian says enough. Graf says, why are you stopping me? Krelian says he is bait. If you kill the bait, the bird we wish to capture will fly away. You know, a very important bird needed to fulfill my earnest desire. You understand, don't you, Lacan? Graf says, suit yourself. Krelian says, we shall crucify them in the land of Golgotha. To the west of here, collect all the broken gears. When Faye and the others arrived at the deepest part of Mahanan, I was looking after the newly mutating people in Nissan. People were mutating one after the other. Like some eternal nightmare that made me wonder just how long we would have to keep nursing them. Margie says, are you okay? You haven't had any rest, have you? I can handle things on my own for a while. Why don't you go out for a walk? Ellie says, thank you, but I'll be alright. I'd rather keep busy so that I won't worry about things too much. Margie says, is that it? Margie continues, hey Ellie, what's that? Ellie says this. Margie says, can I see it? Just as I thought, it's the pendant of Nissan. But why do you have it, Ellie? Ellie says it's Faye's, I'm holding on to it for him. It feels as if I've always worn it, though. Margie says, when you wear that, you look even more like Sophia. Ellie says, really? Flattery won't get you anything, you know. Anyway, we need to hurry up and test the new mutation suppressant assembler on those other people there. We cannot afford to have them change any further. Ellie says, ah. Oh no, something has happened to Faye and the others. Overcome by indecipherable fear, I decided to ascend to Shivat, which was stationed in the skies above Nissan. Awaiting me there was a transmission from Krelian. He told me that if I wanted to save Faye and the others, I would have to come to Golgotha. Krelian awaited me. In order to save Faye and my other friends, I departed in the last Omnigear left remaining in Shivat. My previous fear of riding in this machine was surmounted by my desire to rescue the people dear to me. Rank says, are you serious about going alone? Ellie says, Krelian told me to come by myself. I can't afford to break the agreement, so please stay behind and protect everyone here. Helmhall says, it's a trap. Ellie says, I know. Stolotsky says, then why? Ellie says, if I do not go, Faye and them will be executed for sure. Krelian isn't concerned with anyone but me. Rank says, what makes you think he's gonna hold as part of the bargain? Do you have any way of knowing that you will definitely save your friends by doing this? Ellie says no. Vance says, then it's suicide. Ellie says, it might be, but I've made it this far because of Faye and the others, because they accepted me as their friend. Rank says, if you go away, what about us? What about all the people who have assembled in Nissan that you leave behind? Everyone's depending on you for their spiritual support. Ellie says, the people in Nissan will be fine. They can stand on their own feet without any support from me. This is also true of you all, right? Breuer says, but why do you do so much for him? Ellie says, I don't know. I guess it's a woman's prerogative to be selfish. Perhaps. Helmhall says, a woman's prerogative? Ellie says, I'm not a holy woman of any sort. I'm just a regular woman. I get angry, I cry, I laugh. Although at times I can resent others, I also know how to love others, loving whole masses of people at times, and loving just one person the rest of the time. I am in supreme bliss when I am embraced by the man that I love. Giving what I have to him and receiving what he gives, we become one flesh. That is the moment when I am most at peace. It is my prerogative as a woman to simply want to save the man I love. Vance says, boss. Ellie says, I'm sorry for saying such selfish things. I'll go and do all that I can for my friends, so I want you to do whatever it is that you can do for our friends here. Ellie continues, well, I'd better get going now. Citan says, Ellie. Faye says, you idiot, why did you come here? Krellian's after you, forget about us, run and save yourself. Ellie says, I came as I was told, I'm the only one you need. They have nothing to do with this, let Faye and the others go. Krellian says, how gallant you are, Elliam. It's as if that scene from the past has been brought back to life in the present. So you came in an Omni-Gear, that too is her gear. Allow me to confirm something. Krellian says, I'll consider what kind of treatment your friends will receive on one condition, that you first defeat these two men here with that gear you came in. How about it, Elliam? Faye says, forget it, Ellie. He's up to something. Don't accept it. Citan says, Faye is right. Krellian is not a man of his word. He always has ulterior motives when he sweet-talks someone. What is more, those men are fighting machines created by Krellian. Their combat skills are immeasurable. They are not opponents you can handle by yourself. Do not take him up on his offer. Escape while you still can. Krellian says, such harsh criticism, but I'm not that brutal. So what'll it be, Elliam? Even if you were to try to flee now, it is not likely you would be able to. You see, I have this whole area surrounded by guards. Wouldn't it be logical to take the choice where you may still stand a chance? No matter how slight it may be. Faye says, don't do it, Ellie. Ellie says, alright, I'll do what you say. Krellian says, good, you are indeed my precious little bird. Now get on with it. Ellie says, if it gives Faye and them even the slightest chance of escape, then I will fight. I don't care if it even costs me my life. Ellie says they're too fast. Ellie says, outmatched, even in my Omni-Gear. But I can't just... No, not like this. Ellie says, I can't lose. Must somehow stop movement. Ellie says, stopped, now's my chance. Hyah! And summon some ether to screw up the gears. Ellie says, did I do it? The gears get back up. She says, how could that be? I thought it had some sort of effect. Girl, that hurt. I'll get you back. It was wrong of you to underestimate our power, says the other enemy gears. They stomp Ellie into the ground. She's screaming and breathing heavily. The other enemy says, I'm getting no results. It can't be helped, Mugwort. It's about time to finish the job. And they start pounding on her some more. Ellie falls to the ground. They say, ha ha ha, down yet? It's to be expected. Multiple fractures, major blood loss. I wouldn't be surprised if the cockpit is a sea of blood. At worst, death. Ha ha ha. Ellie gets back up and they say, her enemies say, what the? There's no way you could stand after taking that much damage. Mugwort, why you? How dare you do that to my partner? Ellie uses some ether attacks and destroys the enemy gears. then falls to her knees. In the Omnigear. Faye says, "No way, Ellie." Krelian says, "Her true awakening or just merely protecting her master? Either way, it does not alter the fact that she is the mother existence that I've been searching for." Krelian says, "Now men, recover that machine, place priority on the safety of the pilot, use whatever it takes to preserve her life." Krelian continues, "Well then, I shall be taking this girl with me. As for the rest of you, why don't you just wallow there pathetically while you meditate on your own lack of any real power?" Graf says, "Pitiful. You can't even protect a single woman. It's not even worth the effort of putting a spineless wretch like you out of your misery." Ellie was taken away, and as Krelian had told her, we were left alive. Was Krelian keeping his promise? No, that can't be it. There had to be another real reason why he allowed us to live. And we had to find that out. Alrighty, I'm gonna stop there.